Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat if I'm visible as well as equally audible? Till then, let me just turn on a preview screen to see if I'm visible or not. So, hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat if I'm visible as well as equally audible? Till then, let me just... Okay, I'm fairly visible as well as equally audible. So we would just have a timer of around 1 minute and then we would start right away. So let me just turn on the timer itself. Okay, so we would just wait for 1 minute and then we would start right away. Okay. Right away. So let me just turn on the timer itself. Okay, so we would just wait for 1 minute and then we would start right away. Wait for 1 minute and then we would start right away. Okay, sorry for the dual audio thing. This was due to the... Okay, this was due to the preview screen. Delete. Okay, Siddhartha bro, how can I practice DSA like I'm currently watching your session? But is it enough to have strong DSA? No, it is not enough, to be honest. Why? Because even if you watch all the sessions, if you do binge watching of practice session, if you know all the data structures and algorithm, that is not enough. Why? Because to ace in data structures and algorithms, you need to be equally or more good in practice. Okay, you need to have a good implementation skill, you need to have a good problem solving skill, and you need to have a better idea when to use what data structure, when to use what algorithm, and when to club what. Okay, this is the thing itself. So we would just stop here itself and now keep showering your doubts and I would clear them. So we would go here. So according to me, I would just rank the question and we would talk about this. So in the first question itself, it was a simple simulation based question. Okay, nothing much to worry about, nothing much to think about. Do as it is said. Okay, you don't need to think about anything, but even the brute force approach would be the best approach. Now the second one is on a little tougher side, but if you know the sweep line algorithm of prefix sum, that is to add here and to subtract here, then you can just derive an idea through that and you can say that number of bits can be 32 or 20 like this. So if you maintain that, you would be able to update that and you can do that. Now the last one, that is rearranged characters. This was a little bit on the easier side, because if you take few more example and try to solve few more test cases, then you would be able to get the proper idea. So according to me, this was the easiest, this was the second easiest, and this was the third easy. Okay, how can I practice while watching you? So while watching me, what you can do is you can see, you don't practice while I'm watching you, you can just observe me. Okay, what I used to do is, when I used to watch any practice session, what I used to do is, I was never interested in the solution itself. What I was interested is how he is coming up to that solution. So whenever you see any solution videos, not just me or anyone else, just see this thing, that this point is covered or not, how to come up with that solution. That solution is absolutely of importance, but its importance is lower than how to get that solution, how to get that intuition. So just try to get that, absorb that. Okay, absorb that habit, or try to see how is getting to that idea. Just try to see it with concentration, then you would be able to do it also, and this is absolutely very important. Okay, fair enough. Let's move to the next part, make palindrome. So the first question itself. So in the first question itself, you are given a string S of lowercase English characters. Now what you are allowed to do is, you are allowed to change the characters. You are not allowed to add or remove. Add or remove option is not there. You can only replace a character. So replace, change or replace, more appropriate. Okay, you need to tell what is the minimum number of operation to make the string a palindrome. Okay, so there is something known as palindrome, and एक string दिया हुआ रहेगा, everything, summing up everything in English. So you would be given a string, you need to make it palindrome. How can we make it palindrome? The only operation that we are allowed is you can replace any character to any other character. Translating this into Hindi is आपको एक string दिया जाएगा जिसमें सारा small a to z रहेगा और फिर और फिर आप किसी भी कैरेक्टर को किसी भी कैरेक्टर में चेंज कर सकते हो. ओनली ये कर सकते हो, हटा नहीं सकते हो, ऐड नहीं कर सकते हो. ओके और आपको इसका मिनिमम ऑपरेशन बताना है. दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड टू डू. ओके सो नाउ लेट्स गो टू द फर्स्ट क्वेरी इटसेल्फ. वी आर गिवन A, B and C. So first let us talk what is palindrome. Okay, what is palindrome? Palindrome is front is equal to back. This is what you need to remember. So the proper definition of palindrome is a string or an array which reads the same from front and from the back is known as palindrome. Suppose we have A, B, A. So even if we read from back, this would be A, B, A and this would be A, B, A. So A, B, A is equals to A, B, A, that is, this is a palindrome. But A, B, C, if you read it from the backwards, this would be C, B, A. These two are not equal, so this is not a palindrome. Okay, fair enough. Let's move forward with this. Okay, so if we have A, B, C, then these two characters are not matching. So we know that at this point, if we make it to A, we can have a palindrome. That is why only one operation is required. So the answer to this is 1 itself. Now let us take more examples. Okay, suppose we have something known as A, B, B. Okay, now to make it a palindrome, how many possibilities are there? The first possibility is that we change from A to B. So this would be BB, this would be BB, and the cost encountered is 2 because we were changing two characters here and here. Now the second type of query is we change this character and we change this character. So we change this character, that is B. Okay, this character remains the same. We change this character to make it palindrome and this B remains. So here also the cost is 2 because we have changed this and this. And likewise we can also change this and this, but I won't be doing the same thing again. The next type of thing is we can do is this. So we would make sure A and A are at the same position and B is changed to AA. Here also the count is same. So the cost encountered is same even if we replace the character at any position. So the cost is same irrespective of at what index that operation is being performed. Translating the same in Hindi is इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप कौन से कैरेक्टर को चेंज कर रहे हो, क्योंकि पुराने वाला कैरेक्टर में भी फर्क नहीं पड़ा. आप किसी को भी किसी में चेंज कर सकते हो और कहीं का भी कहीं में चेंज कर सकते हो. आपका दोनों कैटेगरी में आपका कैरेक्टर सेम रहे, आपका कॉस्ट सेम रहेगा. सो इफ द कॉस्ट इज सेम इन ऑल सिनेरियोज then we can do in either ways. So that is why what we would be doing is whenever we find a mismatch, so if there is matching, so if it is equal, so if the corresponding character is equal, we won't do anything, the cost is 0. If the corresponding character is not equal, we would increase one count. Why? Because if there is A and B, so only one needs to be done, na? That is why this needs to be done as AA. So now let's move to the implementation. So we would say that. So before moving to the implementation, let's sum up how we came to this idea. We saw that this is palindrome. Then we saw that what are the possible ways we can solve this. Okay, and what is the minimum way. First we would see how many ways there are to solve this problem. Then we see what is the minimum way. Then we find out that all the possible ways would give us minimum way only. Okay, no one is giving maximum. There is no difference in the number. Whichever way we use, the cost would be same. That is why what we do is we would simply iterate on the string itself from front and back, and we see if the corresponding characters are same, we would make it 0. If not same, we would make it 1. Fair enough? Now let's move forward to the implementation. Moving on to the implementation, what I did was we first find out the stringers. So I would just take A, B and C and then mark the indices, that is 0, 1 and 2, and now n would be equal to 3, that is the string itself. Then I would be pointing here, J would be pointing at this position. Then initially the answer is 0 because we didn't find any mismatch before this. So while I is less than J, yes, 0 is less than 2. and they are not equal, so we would increase the counter to 1. Then I plus plus, so I would come here and j minus minus, j would come at this would be removed, this would, now I and j equal to 0, so we won't do anything, so 1 would remain. That is why the answer to this is 1. Now I would give you 30 minutes and you tell me that if you are done or not. Try 30 minutes, 1 minute. I would wait for 1 minute for your doubts. If there is no doubt persisting in the time frame of 1 minute, I would move forward with the next question itself. Okay. So are you operating on 2 characters in a single word always? Yeah, I'm operating on single word. What I did was I took 2 variables. One would be pointing at the last, one would be pointing at the first. After that, this pointer would point at the second character, this would be pointing at the second last character. This would be pointing at a third character, this would be pointing at a third last character. This is what needs to be done. If I had find the length of stir one loop for mid to 0, another mid to 1, the others continue. Yeah, this can be done. This can be done. This is the approach of the editorial also. Okay, that we simply use a formula. But that formula would be very much difficult, so I tried to make it as intuitive as possible. That is the thing. Yeah, Shaurya Chaudhary, yeah. So, okay. So I see no doubts persisting. So I would just stop here at this position. I would reset this counter and then I would move forward. Now, for the second question, what we would do is we are given an array of n elements. Okay, initially all the elements are 0. And we need to perform an OR operation. We need to perform an OR operation from L to R with the value x itself. Okay, fair enough. So now we would have 3 alphabets. So we have the character as 0, 0 and 0. Fair enough. Now we would start the iteration. We would do a XOR operation with 1. So this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So first we would do an XOR operation with 1. So if it is XOR operation with 1, this would be 1, this would be 1 and this would be 1. This initial array is now changed to this. Okay, these are the indexes itself. These are the indices. So now the first query is performed. Let's talk about the second query. In the second query, how is it written? 2 is represented 1, 0. So now if we XOR 1 with 2, that would be 1 and 1, that is basically 3. So we need to again perform this OR operation from 1 to 3. So if we do an OR operation, this would be converted to 3, 3 and 3. How is this thing happening? So if we look at the truth table of XOR, the truth table of XOR is if it is 0, 0 or sorry, not XOR, this is OR. 0 or 0, this would be 0. If it is 1 or 0, this would be 1. If it is 0 or 1, this is 1. If this is 1 or 1, this is 1 itself. So you can say that if any of the bits is turned on, it would be turned on. If both bits are turned off, that means it would be turned off. Okay, this is how you can memorize the truth table of OR. Okay, सारा ऑफ है तभी ऑफ होगा, एक भी ऑन रहा तो वो ऑन हो जाएगा. Translating the same initial things in Hindi. Okay, fair enough? No, is it not 2 pointer? Okay, now let's try to think about the solution itself. Okay, so now before this, we would discuss the idea of sweep line algorithm. Okay, sweep line algorithm. So we are told that we are given an array where every element are 0. Okay, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now you are given a question where you are given an array like this and you need to perform queries like this. You are given L and R and you need to add the value X from L to R. This is what you need to do. But the first query is from 1 to 4, we need to add the value 5. From 2 to 7, sorry, 2 to 5, we need to add the value 3. This much is enough. Okay, Suppose this is the array itself and we need to perform this query. So there are two ways to solve this. The first approach is that we would simply use a for loop to iterate on the range L to R and we would add that value. At the end we would return the array. So from L to R, L can be at worst 0 and R can be at worst 0. So adding all the values would take a for loop. So every query we would be doing n operation. So for q queries we would be doing qn operation. This is the complexity of the brute force solution. So I would just write brute and then I would write the complexity of brute force solution. So can we do better than this or not? Yes, we can do better than this. We can use something known as sweep line algorithm. How we can do that, I would tell you. So what I can do is, I can add the value 5 at the index 1. So I would add the value 5 at index 1, whatever is the value. This is 0. 0 plus 5 is equals to 5. And I would subtract the value 5 at r plus 1. So 4 plus 1 equal to 5. So at this position, we would subtract the value 5. So I would subtract the value 0 minus 5 is equals to minus 5. Then we would go to L, we would add the value 3. So we would go to 2, 0 plus 2 is 0 plus 3 is equals to 3. And then we would go to the point 6 and then we would subtract the value 3. So we would add minus 3. 0 minus 3 is equal to minus 3. Now what we would do is, we would build the prefix sum out of this. Okay, we would do prefix sum. How would we do prefix sum? I would tell you. So the first element would be copied here, that is 5. 5 is equals to 5. Previous element plus current element. 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. 8 plus 0 is equals to 8. 8 plus 0 is equals to 8. 8 minus 5 is equals to 3. 3 minus 3 is equals to 6. 0. Now let us try to solve. So this is the answer we have got from our algorithm. So this is by using sweep line. Okay. Now let us try to solve the same problem by using brute force and let us tally the answer to what we have got. Okay. So from 1 to 4 we need to add 5. So this would be 5, 5, 5, 5. We need to add 3 from 2 to 5. So 8, 8, 8 and 3. So the values are 5, 8, 8, 8, 3, 0. 5, 8, 8, 5, 8, 8, 8, 3, 0. Both the values are same. So yes, sweep line algorithm is working fine. Now what is the sweep line algorithm? What is the complexity of sweep line algorithm? See, we are going and adding a value here. We are going and subtracting a value here. So addition and subtraction requires a constant operation, is considered as constant operation. So at each query we are doing constant operation. So by using sweep line algorithm, we are doing constant operation. So for each query we are doing one operation. So for q queries we are doing q operation. So from qn we are now till q, big O of q. Am I clear with this sweep line algorithm or not? We go to L, add that value, we go to R plus 1 and we subtract that value. This is how you can add a particular value in all the range without visiting every element. We can add a value in a particular range. We have to add x to all the elements from L to R. Yes, we need to do that. Very akin to the question that is given. In the question it is given that we need to do OR operation from 1 to L to R. Here I am doing the same question but adding the element L to R. So adding one element x from L to R. Just change the question so that you can understand better. Because intuition. So sir एक बार question explain कर दीजिए again. Okay. So initially क्या हो रहा है ना, हमें एक array दिया जा रहा है जिसका सारा element 0 है. फिर हमें इसके जैसा ही query दिया जा रहा है L, R and X. बट यहाँ क्या करना है, फ्रॉम L to R X का वैल्यू को ऐड कर देना है. फ्रॉम L to R X का वैल्यू को ऐड कर देना है. Okay. So in this question you are given the initial elements as 0 and you are given q queries. In each query you are given L, R and X. So from L to R you need to add the value X. So I would again sum up the whole question of this. So suppose we are given an array of size 6. Initially all the elements are 0. So from 1 to 4 we need to add the value 5. So we would go to 1, 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5, 0 plus 5. Then we go from 2 to 5 and add the value 3. So 2 to 5 we go to add the value 3. 5 plus 3 8, 5 plus 3 8, 5 plus 3 8, 5, 0 plus 3 is equals to 3. That is why the answer to this is 5 8, sorry, a 588830. Okay, this is what you need to do. Now what we did was we added the value at L and subtracted the value at R plus 1, and then we build out the prefix sum and we got the complexity as this. There are 8 people, one is me, there are other 7 people. Quickly give me a 1 in the chat so that I can move forward. So I would just wait for the next 1 minute. Quickly tell me if you are clear with this or not. I'm taking so much efforts. Okay, the brightness of my t-shirt can make you assume that there is so much sun outside. It's so hot here in Kolkata. I'm doing a lot, so please kindly revert to that as a mark of humanity. I'm sweating like hell. I have not taken lunch. I'm sitting here. So at least as a mark of humanity, you can just say yes or no. Sir, question says that we have to do OR operation. Why are we adding? So see, question says we are trying to do OR operation. But here we are trying to add. Why? Because we are discussing a different question. We would first understand how to solve this question. Then we would try to derive this question to that question. मतलब क्या कर रहे हैं ना, एक standard question है. This is a standard question. We are trying to solve this standard question and then we would try to derive that given question to this question. This is a very standard question. We are doing R minus L plus 1 operation at one query. Most welcome Saurav. Thanks a lot. Delete. Okay, so we are here we are doing L minus R plus 1 operation at one query. No, we are not doing. I'm showing you. Okay, so see. So what we are doing is, see. Suppose this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, fair enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These are the indices. These are the elements. So we are first coming to L. What is L? L is 1. So we would add 5. So just added 5. And then we would go to R plus 1 and we would subtract 5. We would go to L and add 2. 0 plus 2 is equals to 2. We would go to 6. 5 plus 1 6 and subtract 3. So minus 3. Then, so how many operations we are doing at each query? We are just adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting is considered to be constant. So at each query we are doing constant operation. Then we are building up the whole array itself. Okay. So 5, this would be 3. 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. 8 plus 0 is equals to 8. 8 plus 0 is equals to 8. 8 minus 5 is equals to 3. 3 minus 3 is equals to 0. So 588830. This is what. I can feel I am also in Kolkata. Yes, it's too hot here in Kolkata. And the last night it was raining like hell. But still today it's so much hot. You're most welcome, Ankit. Okay, fair enough. We can move forward with this. Okay, fair enough. So now we will try to derive the same question from here itself. Just a sec. Okay, fair enough. This is what we need to do. Okay, so now we will try to derive this question. Okay, so now we would try to derive this question. Now we can see that we can add. So what are the operation we can do? We can add at L. Okay, so add x at L and then subtract x at R plus 1. This is what we were doing. But here we need to do the OR operation. How to convert that adding to OR operation? So what we can do is we can have a counter like an array of 20. Okay, I would show you how it's done. Suppose we have 5 elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And at each position, if we have an array like this, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So at every position, let me write the indices also. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay. So what I can do is instead of that array, if we have something like this. Now, suppose I do a OR operation here and I want to turn out the 7th bit. So I said that if the bit is already turned on and we do a OR operation with 1, then it won't affect. If the bit is not turned on and we do a OR with 1, then that would be turned on. So the only scenario is if we shouldn't do a OR operation with 0. So if we are doing an OR operation with 1, that means it would be turned on. Okay. If the other bits are turned on, that's fine. If the other bits are not turned on, then also that is fine. Translating the same in Hindi is, अगर बाकी bit 0 रहे और एक 1 रहे तब भी सारा bit चालू हो जाएगा. अगर बाकी bit सारा 1 रहे और ये भी 1 रहे तब भी सारा bit चालू ही रहेगा. अगर सारा bit 0 और ये भी 0, then सिर्फ वो condition में सारा bit off रहेगा. So what I can do is, I can do the same thing. I can turn on the bit at index 1 and then suppose the query is like this. L is equal to 1 and R is equal to 3. Okay. So what I can do is I can go to R plus 1, that is 4, and I can subtract this bit. I can subtract this bit. Then after that, if I do the prefix array, then this would be 1, 1, 1 and 1. Simple. And after this, that would be 0. Did you get this idea or not? Instead of a single element, we can have the whole table of size this. Why we can see this? Because see, the number of bits in a number is feasible. That is just 32 or 64 bit or 20 bits. Okay. So we can have for each element, we can have a big array for each element. We can have this or not. Just send me a quick one in the chat. Quick one. I won't be having any timer. I would be just reading out the comments. Sir, give the Java approach. I think it will be much better for more people. Okay. Okay. So I would be trying to generalize this for Java also. Don't worry. I won't be STL specific. Okay. Yeah. That is the main thing. Approach should be clear, but in my view, how we are coming to the approach is the most important. Then approach, and then at the end the implementation. At the end, to just learn the implementation skill. Okay, am I clear? Okay, I'm clear till this point. Okay, so now for each position, what we would be doing is we would be having an array of size 20 or 32. Okay, this is what we can do. And if we need to turn on the bit from L to R, then we would first add the bit at L and subtract the bit at R plus 1 if it exists. Otherwise we would be out of bounds. No? So now I would explain you the whole code line by line. Okay. So now I would tell you what I am trying to do. Okay. So now we would just solve this and we would see. So I would just take a segment of this and I would show you the dry run of this. How is this happening? Okay. So now there are three elements. For all the three elements, 1, 2 and 3, we would have an array like this, array vector of arrays. Okay. Then we would have three places. It would be 20, but I would be showing here only 3. See, it would be 20, but I would be showing here only 3. So 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. A 2D array, or you can say. Okay. Now we would be making every value as 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. This here it is done. Now we would start at this position. Okay. So if the bit, so how 1 is represented? 1 is represented as 0, 1. So this bit is turned on. So what we would do is we would turn on the bit at this position. So we would make it 1. We would make it 1. R plus 3 plus 1 is equals to 4. 4 is not there, so we won't do anything. We would turn on this bit. Okay. And then if it is within the range, then only we would subtract. If it is outside the range, we won't do anything. Okay. This is done. Now again we would come to the next value. Okay. This is again turned on. So 2 is represented as 1, 0. So we would now turn on this bit and we are out of the range 3 plus 1. So we won't do anything. After all this, we are adding the values. Okay. We are adding the values. This would be 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. So adding the values, then building up the prefix sum. Then if the value is turned on, we would add the value. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if this is turned on, then 2 to the power 0 plus 2 to the power 1. That means 2 to the power 0 is equals to 1 and 2 to the power 1 is equals to 2. That is 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. That is why all the values would be 3 itself. That is why answer plus is equals to 3 itself. Then a plus I is equals to answer. That is how every value would be equal to 3 itself. Now am I clear or not? There is 2D arrays also available in Java. For loop are the same in Java. For each loop, the syntax is a little bit different. Auto is not there. This fill function is nothing but you can simply use a for loop to fill the whole array. Vector is array list in Java. Just replace vector with array list of integer and you would be done. Now tell me if I am clear or not. I would just give you a timer of 1 minute and then I would move forward to the last question itself. And the last question is on the bit easier side. I know approach should be clear, but I want that while explaining, you try to explain Java code instead of other languages. How much do I use it for practice? Yeah, I also started off with Java. Why? There is a reason. Not because everyone is doing that, because I was from ICSE. But if you go to the competitive programming side, if you see the competitive programming community, then 80% of the competitive programmers use C++. But in DSA, we are seeing this, that in the recent 2-3 years, there is a trend of using Java. That is the thing. So am I clear with everything or not? Thanks a lot, Ramshish. Surabhi, I'm done. Ankit, delete. What is the scenario of this? Are you able to Surabhi and all? Okay, Surabhi has also replied. Okay, just quickly tell me if I'm clear or not. Ankit and delete. Please do. What is your name, by the way? I'm just calling you delete. Okay, fair enough. No doubts coming in. I would move forward with the next question. Okay. Sorry, I arranged my board in a good fashion, but I don't know what happened to this. I think there is a glitch in open board with Mac. It is not performing that greatly. But I was using Windows up till now, no, so I'm a little bit comfortable with Windows more. I'm getting comfortable with Mac nowadays. But it's good. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely no. Okay, fair enough. So we are given a string with repeated characters. Okay. So I would just tell you the summary of this question. You are given a string where there might be a case that there are A 2 times, B 3 times. It means that there might be more than one occurrence of a particular character. Now your task is to rearrange the character in such a way such that adjacent means side by side no two characters are same. So if the given value is A and A, this is not valid. If the given value is A and B and then again A and B, this is valid. But if suppose this is A and B and again A, these two are same, adjacent value is same, this is not valid. Okay. So there might be many ways to rearrange this. You need to return any of them. Okay. How much it cost you, sir? Mac, I used the student discount because I'm still in my third year. So it costed me around 1.5 lakhs with accessories, because we don't have a USB and all, and then I had a stand and all. So what I did was, what was happening is, when I was using Windows, so I was using a HP laptop when I got admission in my college. I used a HP laptop, but when I started off my work, it was becoming very difficult to stream and to have the face cam and then to use OBS and then to code simultaneously, then to use pentab and all. I'm doing pentab and all now. So the laptop was hanging a bit. Why it was hanging a bit? Because see, if I use the camera of the HP laptop, the image was very blurry and I wanted to give you a crisp. Okay. So what I used to do is, I used to use a software. I can't name the software because it might be the case that I might fall into copyright issues. But what was happening is, I used an external mobile of mine. I was using this phone so to have the stream. So my video was being recorded by my phone and by this. So laptop was very hot after a certain point of time. So what happened was, I started saving my salary, and after saving a salary for few months, I was able to buy this Mac. This is the whole story of it. And kind of this one and a sports bike is bought with my salary, and it's a dream come true. Why? Because I come from a middle class family. So my father rides a scooter and my mother rides a scooty. So I never had the experience of riding a bike on my own. I used to just ride a bike of my friends. I can't drive it very properly. Why? Because I was very afraid that if the bike crashed or something, I would have to open my mouth in front of my father to ask for money. And मैंने कभी अपने बाइक के लिए पैसा नहीं मांगा, तो दूसरे के लिए क्या मांगूंगा? इसलिए that is why I didn't ever did that. So after this point, when I started saving, I bought my Mac, a sports bike and all. Okay. So okay, apart from that, let's move to this question. Sorry for being so general way. Okay. But it brings a smile on my face every time I say this. I say this very proudly, to be honest. Okay. Okay. It's fair enough. I don't work for any company. I am an intern at GeeksforGeeks. I am a mentor and a SD intern at GeeksforGeeks. Okay. Fair enough. And I am a college student. I am a third year student at Netaji Subhash Engineering College. They're tier 3 students. Okay. This was off campus, this internship. Okay. So let's move. Okay. So we have G is equals to 1. So G is equals to 1. Then we have E is equals to 1 at this position. Then we have E is equals to 2 at this position. Then we have K. So now K is equals to 1 at this position. Then we have S is equals to 1 at this position. Then we have F is equals to 1 at this position. So what we can do is, we can have something like G, E, K, S, F, O, R, G. Okay, one E is left. Okay. So we can have G, and we can again leave one more, and then K, and then E, then S, then E. So here no two adjacent characters are same. These two are not same, these two are not same, these two are not same, these two are not same. These two are all unequal, these two are 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 unequal. Okay, fair enough. So every character is satisfied and everyone is unequal. That is why we can say that yes, we can arrange this one. So we can just, we can return this string and we can, if it is possible, this is the related answer to this. I am impressed with your style, sir. Okay. Wish a girl would be impressed by me. Okay. I'm just joking. Thanks a lot. Okay. By the way, I'm very dumb in real life. I talk a lot in stream, but in real life, I talk a little bit less. Okay. Fair enough. So let's try to think in this way. Suppose we have A, B, C. That is why there are no, the occurrence of each character is not greater than 1. If the occurrence of each character is not greater than 1, then we can arrange in any order and we can say that yes, the answer exists. Okay. Now if the occurrence is more than 1, so if the occurrence is more than 1, if we have something like A, B, and so we can have something like A, B, A. Okay. So now the occurrence of A is greater than occurrence of B. So what we did was we started off with A and then we ended off with A. Why this? Because we know that there is no adjacent character this side of A and there is no adjacent character of this side with A. But for this B, we need to consider the adjacent character this side also, this side also. But for the starting and the last character, we don't need to consider the adjacent character. For the starting character, we don't need to consider this one. And for the last character, we don't need to consider this one. Okay. I'm just joking, brother. I'm just joking. Okay. I'm just joking. It's a Maya. Okay. Don't take me wrong. I think that I'm not ready for this, all things. It's just that, to be honest. In these all scenarios, I think I'm not ready. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So if we have something like this, now what's the point of telling this? So we can see that we need to, if we write A, B. So the greater frequency should be written at first, then the next frequency, then the next frequency, then again next frequency, then again next frequency. So now if we follow a greedy way of doing this, so what we can do is first, so the problem would be, so there are only two types of character. There are two types of character. One with more occurrence, one with less occurrence. There are only two scenarios. Now this would create more problem. So this would create more problem and this would create less problem. So as we do in real life, we say that the most problematic things should be done at first. हिंदी में कहावत नहीं है, जो सबसे ज़्यादा problem कर रहा है उसको पहले complete कर लो. Same thing we would do here also. Okay, we would first try to tackle the most occurred one. So what we can do is we can first try to handle the most occurred. So I would write the most occurred, then the second occurred. So I would just write the first occurred. So the first is the most occurred character, and then the second occurred character, then third occurred character, then the fourth occurred character. So what I can do is I can do something like this is the first occurred character, then the second occurred character, again first occurred character, again second occurred character. So this is how the most occurred frequented character I can do this. But how to do this thing? Now we know that if we, so the most greatest frequency we would write, then the second most greatest frequency. So we would club the highest frequency with the second highest, club with first highest with second highest. I hope this idea is clear. So what I can do is merge highest with second highest. This is what needs to be done. Okay. So now the next scenario is such that merge the highest with the second highest. So now every time we require the merge the second highest on the next higher, and if we add the occurrence. Suppose there is A and there is B and there is B, and if we write A, then we need to subtract this A, and then we again need to sort this. So if we want to edit values, if we want the max to be at top, okay, and this should be dynamic, which data structure should be used to satisfy this? If we want to edit the values, if we want the maximum to be at the top, and it should be dynamic, we can change the values every time we insert elements. It would be automatically rearranged such that the top element is the greatest and the lowest element is the minimum. Tell me a data structure. Quickly tell me a data structure where we can edit the values and the maximum element would be at the top and the minimum element would be at the last. Tell me a data structure to this. Yeah, priority queue, absolutely. So priority queue or the max heap. Priority queue, so max heap or the priority queue. Now the algorithm is simple. What we would do is we would merge the highest with the second highest. We would take out the value, we would decrement the value, we would club with the next maximum. Then if the value still remains, if the character still remains, we would again insert it, and we would keep doing that till it is the end. Now if at the end we are able to club, we are able to achieve the length of the given string, that means we are able to use all the characters. That means yes, we have a value, else we don't have a value. Okay, many people are following this. So can I have a quick like to this video? The number of viewers here is 11, but the number of like is only 6. Please increase the like counter, please. Okay, so now what I would do is I want to teach you this. I can make a simple of pairs, but I wanted to teach you this. Okay, this is absolutely very good approach to this. What we would do is we would have a struct. How is struct used? Struct is used to have user defined data type. So now in this data type we would have two things. The priority queue would have two things. The first one is the frequency of each character and the next is the character itself. Now we are overriding this one, overriding the constant one. So if the frequency of this is less than k dot frequency, that is we would be seeing the less than equal to, we are overriding the operator, and if this is less than this, so it is nothing but, this is nothing but if the frequency we are just building a max heap based on the frequency. So whose frequency would be more, it would be at the top, whose frequency would be less, it would be at the bottom. Okay, so now we have built up a structure. Now I would show you what this is happening. So suppose we have A, B, how this is being solved. So first we have n is equals to str dot length, so n is equals to 3. Then we have the max count character is equals to 0. Then we would first count the character itself. Okay, count the character of each. So we would write A is equals to 2, B is equals to 1, and we store it in the counter array. So there is an array, we make use of the ASCII values and we would store it. Then we have a priority queue of the structure key, where it would be based on this. So now A with the frequency 2, B with the frequency 1 would be done at this position. Then a string to store the answer, which is named as str, is done, which is initially blank. Next we have a previous key to keep a track that the previous character that we have used, see, to use the current character we would see that this is equal to the previous character or not. This is what needs to be done. So initially previous is equals to -1 because it won't conflict with the present one. Okay, so now we would first take hold of the top element is A. So we would just write here A and then we would subtract the value of A. Now both are same. Okay, next what we would do is we would decrement the counter, still greater than 0, we would again insert it. Next iteration also we would use this A. Again we would use this A. Now sorry, this previous would be converted to A. So now we come to A A is equal to the previous element, so we won't do anything. We would go to B and we would add B and then we would subtract the value of B. Now B is equals to 0. So if B is equals to 0, it is not greater than 0, so we would remove this. Now only A remains with a frequency of 1. Now we would update this A with B. Now we come to A only. A is not equal to B, so we would add A and we would decrement the frequency. So now A is also equal to 0, so we would also remove A. Now the priority queue is empty, so now this loop would end. After that, we would check if the length of str and the length of this is equal or not. Why we are checking this? We are just seeing this, that we are able to use all the characters or not. So we are able to use all the characters, then only we would have this, na? Okay, so we are having the same number of characters. Okay, that is why the length is ABA. So the length is this. So if the length is not equal, we would do -1, else we would return ABA. That is it. So I would just have a timer for the last 1 minute, or I would make this an open forum. So now this is an open forum. You can ask me anything for the next 2 minutes. If there is no doubts in the next 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, I would end this stream. This is an open forum now. You can ask me anything. Where is the current character? Yeah, see this is the place. See, if the previous dot frequency, if the priority queue is not empty, then key dot previous, this one. Okay, so if it is greater than that, then only we are moving this. See, and then we are editing the previous character. Okay. Quickly increase the like counter of this video. Quickly. Okay, it's done. Okay, so I see no doubts coming in. Okay, I see no doubts coming in. Only 20. I would still wait for the next 20 seconds and then I would end this stream. Aryan, Jadavpur is closed today. Today is Monday, na? There is no college today. Thanks a lot, Ram Sid. Sauravi Dubey sir, I'm unable to approach the questions of the string sometimes. What to do? So if you are unable to approach, try to do more questions of it. If you face any difficulty and you are not able to solve, no one of your friends or someone you're not able to get help, you are free to search my name on LinkedIn and then send me a request and ask your doubts here. Okay? Okay. NSEM is going on. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today. So by the way, Aryan Saha, all the best. So that's it for today. Thank you and have a nice day. Most welcome, Ankit. But never leave coding by heart.